On today's episode of Time About the Movies, J.J. Abrams is back with the help of Steven Spielberg in essentially an 80s Amblin-esque type of adventure film that was also kind of an inspiration for one of the biggest hits of the decade. We'll take a look at Super 8, and then we'll see, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was the big success a year ago, so another studio has basically come out and said, well, we could take a classic children's book series and turn it into a Diary of a Wimpy Kid-esque hit. The result was not the same with Judy, Moody, and the Not Bummer Summer, unfortunately. But we'll take a look at that, along with Super 8, as we look at June 10th, 2011, today on Time About the Movies.
I've got nothing against your friends. I like your friends. Well, things have obviously changed for us.
I have to help Charles finish his movie.
It'd be good for you to spend some time with kids who don't run around with cameras and monster makeup.
Could you close your eyes, please? Yeah. And action! Guys, watch out!
An eastbound freighter derailed. What the cargo was on that freighter, we don't know.
I can't tell anyone. I know.
I understand you have concerns about our cargo.
Colonel, there isn't anything else that I should know, is there?
I can assure you the answer is no.
We've gotten calls from people who found local dogs, but the calls coming in aren't local.
Lucy!
It's like they all just ran away.
I've got property damage. I've got theft. I've got 9 people missing now. There are things happening around here that I can't explain.
We have to find this thing. I don't feel good about this.
Go! I saw it. No one believes me. But I believe you.
What the hell?
And welcome to Time About the Movies. Today we are taking a look at the 2 films of June 10th, 2011. And our first movie is, of course, Super 8. Now, you just saw the trailer that pretty much everybody saw in 2011, but most people forget that. Think back to when you first saw Iron Man 2 on the big screen, and you saw all the trailers for the big summer 2010 movies, and then you got to the very end when this random trailer they're about to show you started popping up. Yeah. I mean, this is the same people that made Cloverfield, so why not, tell everybody, hey, here's this big blockbuster we're working on, but we're not going to tell you a single thing about it. And that was their big marketing plan with this movie. They started it with Iron Man 2, putting that trailer on there. No release date, and lo and behold, a year and a half later, almost over a year later, I should say, not a year and a half, but we finally got this movie. And, needless to say, it definitely delivered on the hype that it promised, and inspired a lot of other things that we'll talk about as we go along here. But this is, of course, Super 8, and it tells the story of a group of young teenagers who are filming their own Super 8 monster movie when a train derails, releasing a dangerous presence into their town. And this takes place in 1979, and as you see, you have Kyle Chandler, Ellie Fanning, and Joe Courtney among the cast in there. And this was a movie I was really looking forward to. They did a good job with the marketing of this, keeping the secrecy of the monster overall and what it looked like. You could tell this was marketed by the same people who did Cloverfield. This is made by the company who made Cloverfield. But this time you add in Steven Spielberg and, of course, Amblin Entertainment. And you see in that trailer the old Amblin Entertainment logo, which, I know it's been 10 years since they've updated that logo, but I still get nostalgia watching that logo over and over again. I mean, the movie gets you right from the get-go with this great music by Michael Giacchino. And you have the Paramount logo followed by the Amblin logo coming up, and then the Bad Robot logo. It's just like, at that point I already knew I was probably going to love the hell out of this movie. And this movie, I was really looking forward to it. It did not disappoint whatsoever. This is a movie that I fell in love with from the very beginning, as I said. It is a film that takes a lot of homages of classic Steven Spielberg films. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. In a way, I consider it kind of to be the end of Spielberg's Alien trilogy. Even though he wasn't the director on this, he was still very much involved in this film. And it helps that you have a great young cast that includes Elle Fanning and also Joe Courtney, who are both really good on screen together. Kyle Chandler is very good in this. A big chance for him to get a big leading role after his success on Friday Night Lights and on Early Edition. He does a great job playing the lead boy's father. The monster did look pretty cool, and I'm glad to see that it wasn't the disappointment that I was afraid it was going to be. I mean, it does have kind of the look of the Cloverfield monster, but not really. It has its own kind of distinctive look to it that really does kind of help it out. And the film does feel like a film that was made in the 1970s. They did a pretty good job of creating the visual look of the film to make it seem like it was something from a time capsule from back in the day. And once again, man, like I said, Michael Giacchino, fantastic score. I mean, this is probably one of the best scores I've heard in the last 20 years, right behind Daft Punk's Tron Legacy score. I mean, the ending of the movie is just so good. It doesn't bullshit out of a way to continue the story on this alien as like to build up a sequel or anything. No. It has a perfect ending. It wraps up nicely. It doesn't need to have another story to continue, another film to continue it, to show why this movie is so special. It's just that great of a film. And like I said, you can tell that this movie was the beginning of the influential trend that we're going to see with Stranger Things popping up about 5 years later. I mean, of course, Stranger Things is very much similar to Super 8, except they've taken that and added new elements to it to make it stand out on its own. And you can really pinpoint to Super 8 being the thing that kind of pushed that to the next to where we got to Stranger Things and kind of the nostalgic feel that we get for movies and TV shows nowadays. Like, you can tell a lot of things take a lot of influence from Stranger Things, but Stranger Things took a lot of influence from Super 8, and that's really kind of the cool thing about this movie. It sadly doesn't get the appreciation I think it deserves. I think it's definitely a film that really is a lot better than people let on. I think it's a film that it was kind of stuck in Cloverfield shadows because it came out so soon after the original. I mean, the film did well with critics overall, but audiences were just kind of mixed about it. It got kind of lost in the shuffle for a little bit, and you really don't hear a lot of people talk about it anymore. It's a shame because this movie still holds up after all these years. It's a wonderful, action-packed movie. It is very much a perfect film. It's a film that does not have many flaws to it. It's a good, fun movie all across the board. I had a good time with it. I was really glad to see that it held up after all these years. I mean, what more can you say, man? Super 8 is a fantastic film. I can't recommend this one enough. Definitely seek it out. Give it another chance, because it's actually a lot better than you might think it actually is. So yeah, that's Super 8. So let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, which is Judy, Moody, and the Not Bummer Summer.
Oh, Mom, can I go to circus camp?
I don't think so.
Bet I can quit school and you can loan me out to a circus and I'll make gobs of money. No one
in this family has any imagination. I, Judy Moody, am ready for the ultimate summer, and it doesn't include my brother Sting. I'm gonna catch Bigfoot. Right.
Your mom and I have to fly to California, and you and Stink are staying here.
What? Your Aunt Opal's coming. Hey, whoa. You know how to drive, right? Of course. You call that driving? And Opal turned out to be way cool. And we came up with a plan. Introducing the Judy Moody Mega Rare Not Bummer Summer Dare. So we do these dares, and for each one we get 10 thrill points. The thrill race is on. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What's wrong?
Okay, you could pretty much see some of the problems with the movie right from the get-go. It is pretty much a rip-off of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, because Diary of a Wimpy Kid was so successful. So let's take another popular book series of the same name and do the same thing with that. And the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies weren't even that great to begin with. So we're ripping off something that wasn't that great to begin with and making something that's even worse. And that's the problem with Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer. It's based off the series of books of the same name, and it features this Australian actress Jordana Beatty as the titular character in a contest for the best summer with friends Amy Namer, who's off to Borneo, and Rockford Rocky Zhang, who's going to circus camp. Since her parents are off to California, Judy is stuck with her younger brother Stink and her free-spirited aunt Opal, played by Heather Graham. Her misadventures to have the best summer include a Bigfoot chase, various activities ruined by her friend Hank, and putting hats on animals with Opal. And one of the big problems with the trailer right off the bat is the trailer makes it seem like Heather Graham is like this kind of evil person, like she's somebody that, you know, that Judy does not want to be around because she treats her so badly. And just no, you don't get that from somebody like Heather Graham. I mean, like Heather Graham does not come off as somebody who comes off as a menacing person in general, or somebody who's not cool by this film's logic. But I mean, she's perfectly fine in here. The casting overall is fine, I guess, but at the same time, the jokes really are just kind of lackluster and bland, and this movie doesn't feel like it's going for the jokes strictly from the books. It's just going like the typical PG kids movie route where, oh, we gotta have gross out humor, we gotta have her puke, we gotta have her best friend puking on her while she's on the roller coaster, and it's just kind of like why? Like, why do we have to degrade ourselves to that level? I mean, this is pretty lame. I mean, this is a lousy movie that's way too bright and colorful, even by the book standards. Like, I mean, honestly, this could probably work in an animated format like Diary of a Wimpy Kid did later on down the road. Because I think the Diary of a Wimpy Kid Disney Plus animated movies are much better than the actual live-action movies. And that's my opinion. But this, yeah, it's just bland kids territory, and kids were smart enough to not want to go see this movie. And I think the parents were smart enough to say, yeah, we're going to wait till this comes out on DVD or on the Disney Channel, because we're not going to take it, we're not going to suffer, we're not going to make you kids suffer from this. We have another kids movie later in the month that we're going to make you suffer through, but all a good time. But, like I said, man, the acting is fine, I guess, but other than that, this movie's kind of lame. I mean, this is a film that, even if you're a fan of the book, I don't think you'd be really that impressed by it by any means. So, yeah, so that's all I got to say about Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer. It's not a bummer summer, but it is kind of a bummer of a movie. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and next time we meet, not a very good week for movies, I'll tell you that much, because we have Ryan Reynolds starring in Green Lantern, which, you know, it was seen as kind of a big thing, with Ryan Reynolds, a rising star. Blake Lively, of course, he would meet his wife on that film, and Martin Campbell, the director of GoldenEye, and the guy who resurrected James Bond not once but twice. This should work. Unfortunately, it didn't. We'll talk more about that later on in the next episode. And speaking of movies that I mentioned before that were movies that were insulting to kids, parents didn't take their kids to see Judy Moody and the Not Bummer Summer, but hey, Jim Carrey's Dancing with fucking Penguins. Let's take him to Mr. Popper's Penguins. And you're going to see why that was a bad decision in a little bit, is in the next episode. I keep saying a little bit, but maybe it's because I'm filming earlier in the day than usual. But we have that, and we also have The Art of Getting By. So 3 films to take a look at next time around, and we'll delve on that in the next episode tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching this and enjoying this. I hope you did, and if you did, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist and check out the last episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.